Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening, watching, etc. Episode 40. I always mess this up. Is this
42.
42? Episode
42.
42. You would think that I would have it on point at especially right now since I took such a long hiatus, you know. So episode 42, another cat from the 405. Diego Rodriguez. What's up, man? Repping the
What's going on?
Thunder. dude,
Yeah,
dude,
I was really excited about being 42 because my favorite president has always been Bill Clinton. So I was just like, I'm 42. Like I'm freaking Bill right now. Like it's probably the one thing in common I have with the guy. So I was pumped.
that's awesome, dude. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah,
Bill
I looked it
Clinton,
up to make sure and everything. I was just like, I gotta say that. I'm like, this is my one chance to say that I'm 42.
the Bill Clinton
Yeah,
episode.
the Bill Clinton episode.
We'll try to keep it scandal free.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking before a little bit briefly before we started rolling, trying to pinpoint the actual time that we had met. Both from Oklahoma, both spent. Aren't you you're originally from Norman, right? Like you grew up in
I'm
Norman?
originally from Bolivia. Moved here in eighth grade.
Eighth grade.
And yeah, been part of Norman ever since. I'm still here.
Okay, yeah, because I knew you were one of those Norman cats, and you know, there's if you know anything about Norman, it's pretty. It's not divided, but it's like there's different groups. You know, you've obviously
Yes.
got like the college groups of like it's a big, Greek life there,
Yep.
but then there's this like little dirty corner on White Street, where you got the deli and then like all these like crusty like little
That's where
hippie
they all, and
kids.
they're all where they're still there. I went to the deli
Are
to see
they?
Parker Millsap like 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, there's a ton of people that I hadn't seen in years, and they're still right there.
That's awesome.
Same dirty dive bar.
So I think that's kind of where, if I were going to put money on where we
Yeah.
actually met, I would say it would be there. And then have seen each other at different Phish shows, like we were saying, across
Oh
the
yeah, all
country. And
throughout.
yeah,
I think I
so
think I I think I've seen you like times that I can remember I've seen you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Fish Northerly Island. Uh, were you there? Because
I
I'm
was
pretty sure I
there.
saw you there at some point.
I was there 13 and 14, if I'm getting my dates right, because I did two
Let's.
years back to back.
Which one was it? It was the one where Second City came on,
I was
and
talking about that
did the
last.
whole one.
So you were there too?
Yep, I was there for that. That was a
Okay.
trip.
I was talking about that with Cam, episode 40, because he knows the guy, Chris, that went up on stage.
Hmm.
We were talking about that a couple episodes ago. Okay, yeah, so we ran into each other there, and someone
Fish
else reminded
Dicks,
me
Fish
uh,
Dicks also, of course.
every year at Dick's. That's like, dude, the Dick's runs kind of like turned into. It was almost like going to like a show at Cane's. Like if you live in
Yes.
Oklahoma and you're into this type of music, jam band or any type of cool music, and anybody cool comes to Cane's, like you go to Cane's
And you
and
see everybody.
everybody in there, or
Yeah.
at least 90% of people in there. And that's kind of how it turned into, it seemed like, at least at the Dick's shows or like the Dick's runs. It's like, because everybody in Oklahoma is like obviously going, it's like a 12-hour drive, right? And
Yeah.
then like all these like different Oklahoma crews like start mingling and intertwining. And it's like, dude, I know everybody here, which
Then
is
you see
cool.
the Oklahoma flag and you just gravitate to it because people like to bring that out. Everyone just kind of links up.
Yeah,
The Oklahomies is what everyone refers to us as now.
the
If you're
Oklahomies.
if you're in the scene, it's always part of the Oklahomies because it's just like
Yep.
there's not a lot from Oklahoma. It's the
Yeah.
same cats everywhere.
Yep. And it's like it's always nice to, especially at those like Dick's runs. Like I see you rocking the Thunder tee right now. It's like either wearing like a Thunder shirt or like a
Yep.
Sooner shirt, something to just be like, "Yo, I'm from Oklahoma. Where my Oklahomies at?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right on, man.
We,
Oh,
we're
dude,
all tight.
and not to derail this too much, but speaking of your Thunder shirt, how crazy is it going in Oklahoma right now with like the Thunder being good at basketball again?
Oh, it's like it's kind of like all we got. Like we got all our chips on the Thunder right now. You know, OU is not too hot.
Nope.
OSU is just OSU. Like they're good, but
Uh-huh.
like whatever. It's OSU. Uh, Obviously, then you get into the whole politics thing, which we're not going to get into. But like
Right.
obviously, it's funny. We're looking at. I was with Ricky. You remember Ricky, another Oklahoma. Ricky
Which?
Stan Hootie.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
All
yeah.
those guys. We were
Yep.
talking about the Thunder. In every conversation right now, it's crazy. First of all, it's crazy how once the Thunder are good, how much hate goes into the Thunder. Like, oh, the refs, all this. We're
Right.
talking about how on Reddit, there's full Reddit boards about hate on the Thunder, and it always comes down to like the nastiest comment that people make is just like, oh, okay, well, you're 49th in education, okay, Thunder. I'm just like, God, dude, you guys really, really don't like us
Yeah.
winning right now. So
It always comes back
it's
to the
it is cool
state.
to see. Yeah, it is cool to see. Everyone excited, everyone coming together about the Thunder. It's always really awesome to see. I've been to a couple of games. My oldest son, he loves basketball more than I ever liked basketball. So we're all into basketball all of a sudden. But just taking him to games, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. We're looking forward to tonight's game. He could school you in all the names and where all
Really?
those cats come from. Yeah, I don't know anything. I'm learning basketball because I have an 8-year-old that loves basketball.
Okay, got it. Cool. I'm one of those. I'll admit it here, and everybody can dog me all they want. But if you remember, like back in like 2012, I think it was like whenever like we had a shot at like the actual like title,
Yeah,
and then just got
that
spanked
hurt.
by
That
the
hurt.
Heat. Dude, I was so in. I was so in on the Thunder, right? So in, like die hard. But then after that happened, I'm one of those people that like I kind of jumped ship and like didn't watch I
And
didn't watch
again,
any
I'll
Thunder
tell you,
basketball.
I'm the
I didn't
same
watch any
way.
NBA
I'm the same
until
way.
I saw my cousin reached out to me and he was like, "Yo, the Thunder are like doing good this year," and like I was like, "Oh shit, they're like second round in the playoffs." And then I started like watching games and stuff again.
And
Now
they're
I'm like
good. Like
all
it's
invested,
crazy. And we're young. Like those guys are so young.
and I don't know
And
any
it's
of their
kind of
names.
it's kind of a weird perspective too, because back whenever 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whenever you were really into the Thunder, we were so much younger. We were like in our early 20s. Now we're like 30s, and here's this 23-year-olds just like really,
Yeah,
really about to achieve something, and you're just
just
like, wow,
cooking, dude, and they
it's
do
really
look good.
cool.
It is cool. It is cool. And as much as we could both sit here and nerd out about Thunder and Oklahoma and Oklahomies all day, that's not what we're here for. We're here to hear your
Yeah,
story
let's
on
do it.
how you got into the band Fish. So, who got you into it? Where were you? Why did you
You
get
know,
into it? Walk me through it.
it's pretty crazy. I think, and you'll relate to this because you're my age or close in age. Our generation in general. We all kind of came, unless you got into Fish in like early middle school or elementary school. Like we were in hiatus times. In
Mhm.
high school, like there was no going to see Fish.
Right.
So I think for me it all started with uh, in high school. I had listened to them quite a bit because I started listening to that type of music. String Cheese, Dead, Fish, all the jam bands. And I remember that for my graduating class, everyone was going to Mexico, and I said, no, you know what? I want to go to Rothbury. Like, I want to go to a music festival. And me and a few buddies were just like, let's go to a music festival for a graduating uh, trip. So that's when we went to Rothbury, and that's when I feel like I got into the scene like full time. Like, this is going to be part of my life from here on till forever.
Yeah.
And that's
Who
been
was
it's been
playing? Who was playing Rothbury that year? Sorry to cut you
It
off.
was 2009, so obviously Fish was not there yet. Like they were in the process of coming back.
Hmm.
I think, so that was that's when I was just like, okay, I wanted to go see music. Like I think I'm gonna put school on pause for a little bit
Hmm.
and just really like do this for a little bit because I'm super young and I can afford to do it at this age more than ever. I'm not gonna be able to go on tour when I'm 30, and sure enough, I can't. Like, it would be impossible for me to go into work right
Right.
now.
Got a family and shit,
Yeah, full family.
responsibilities.
Yeah, it's just like it. Like if I sneak like for a show, it's great. Like that's a huge win right now. So
Hmm.
definitely starting high school with I fell in a group of friends. I kind of went the Billy Strings, trade trajectory as far as being into metal and like like just the whole like heavy metal punk music. That's what I was originally grew up with.
Like, what are
Obviously,
some
my
of the
dad.
like what are some of the bands? Because I have
Oh,
like a little metal in me too.
there's always Slayer, but then it got really really niche, like Job for a Cowboy, like full on screamo bands.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I mean, it got pretty deep. And the other day I saw Billy Strings. He on Instagram he put a Job for a Cowboy like that he was listening to, and I was just like, God, that leap of like metal screamo to freaking bluegrass jam band is freaking wild.
I don't think he would have the chops that he has today if he didn't
No,
start
totally
playing
agree.
metal.
That's always been and that's something that Trey talks about. Like if you listen to Trey's playing, like he wouldn't have those chops either if it wasn't for listening, being part of a metal band early on.
Yeah, I want to hear some of those recordings because I
Oh,
don't even know like the name of the band or that he was in or anything like that, but I want
I
to hear
know
it.
that. I would love to hear that. You can hear it in a lot of his playing, especially the earlys, like '93s, and or every now and then it pops up throughout the years.
Oh, wait,
Billy for sure.
I thought we were talking about Billy. You're talking about Trey?
Both. I think
Oh,
you can
okay,
hear it on
gotcha,
both. Billy for
gotcha.
sure, 100%. You can tell that all that stuff is there.
Hmm.
But with Trey, you can every once in a while you can hear it. You
Dude,
can
yeah,
definitely hear it.
those early days. I don't know if Trey was so much listening to like metal and Slayer back in like 92, 93, as much as I think he was just like young and eager to like
Yes,
prove himself and be like he like
full of
really
energy.
loved the craft of like learning guitar and like all these things. And you can just hear it, like the energy in those early recordings. Like they're fucking. He's just ripping, dude. He puts the guitar down
Yeah.
afterwards. There's smoke coming off of it.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, I made that transition, which is super weird. Uh, uh, it was probably freshman year through senior year of high school where I just fully transitioned to jam bands and bluegrass.
Hmm.
Uh, but you really can't say that your Phish fandom started until you go see Phish live. And thank God they got back together and we got the opportunity. I actually went with Jackson. He was my buddy for my first Phish show.
What show?
And it was ACL 2010.
Okay.
One set, just very brief intro to Phish, but they freaking ripped it. What a show! Uh, that's when I was just 100% sold on Phish. Just I'm like, okay, I think the next 3 years I'm probably gonna go see him as much as possible.
As much as
Uh,
possible.
so that's where like Dix came into play shortly after that. The
Right.
first Dix show in
Hmm.
2011. Then it was always what can I get to that's close. Being in Oklahoma because they came
Right.
1 year to Oklahoma and that was cool.
It was
Uh,
cool.
you were there also, I'm sure, because you
Right.
had to
Yep.
be.
Yep.
Uh, at the Zoo Amphitheater. So it was fantastic having them here. I actually worked that show. I'm really proud to be able to. I still have my little badge that I worked at that show because I was working at the Zoo Amphitheater throughout
Oh,
that
no
time.
shit.
So I can say that I worked a Phish show, and that's also
Did you have
an
like
awesome memory.
any special access by working it?
I was backstage with them. They very very much told me, it was just like, hey, do not talk to these guys. And it wasn't so much because like, hey, they don't like to get talked to. It was more just like, dude, like we know we know these are your boys. So like, don't
Right.
freaking fanboy and go ask for an autograph or make him uncomfortable. I was just like, okay, but they were super cool. I mean, they were backstage. My
So you
stepdad worked at the Zoo Amp he was the actual behind the scenes guy back there. He got to meet all of them, super cool cats. But that was one of the coolest experiences about that Oklahoma show. They haven't been back since.
Mm-mm.
Freaking crazy. But
And they won't.
but
They
we were
won't
there.
either.
We were there. The only Oklahoma Phish show. We were there.
Yeah.
So that's another cool moment. Chicago is probably the next place where I saw them the most. I saw them at UIC.
Oh, nice.
3 nights in 2011. Then I did Northerly Island, 3 nights there. I forget. There's another place that I saw them in 2016. It's a hockey arena, I think, but I forget the name of it. But yeah, those are my places. Obviously, the few times that they came to Austin and Dallas, that was a good.
Oh yeah,
must go.
So close, yeah.
They're coming to Austin. I'm very sad that I'm not going to be able to make it this this year to those two shows. But
those are always the brutal ones because.
Oh yeah, when you can't make it,
and the close ones.
Missing out.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out is just like all your buddies are going, and you're just like, is this worth?
Yeah.
Like, how can I make it happen? And you're just like, there's no.
You're just like, I can't. I have hearing you say that your first show was that ACL show in 2010. I have FOMO because I missed that because I was talking with Jackson. He was like, dude, come down with me, like let's go. And I don't remember what it was. But like I had some sort of at whatever kind of responsibilities you have when you're fucking 20,
like college.
Yeah, whatever I had going on, like I couldn't swing it, and I was just like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it, and it sucks.
It really does. Like, and it's also funny how when you're in the lot and you start talking to people and you meet people while you're pregame, and they're just like, hey, what's your name? It's just like. I remember being the young guy and talking to some 30-year-olds, and I was just like, well, I was on my quest of like, I've been to this many Phish shows.
Trying to prove yourself.
When you're just like really early on in the Phish fan, I'm just like, I've been to 12, and like these guys were like 35, our age now, and they're just like, oh yeah, well, I mean we've been to 50, but like we just can't do it like that anymore. It's just there's a point where you just can't just hop on tour or you got to pick between life and responsibilities, and
right.
And
so I always wonder.
It's a battle, constant battle, internal battle,
push and pull. I not distracting myself because I just did this fucking weird ass thing. I don't know.
We said no scandals, Clay. No scandals.
The Bill Clinton episode.
The Bill Clinton episode.
Oh God, what am I doing? Where was I going with that? Before I distracted myself. What was I saying? Talking about going to shows.
Finding a balance.
Oh yeah, the balance. So like, it's one of those things where, whenever you are young and have the disposable income, like if I could tell if like the age old thing is like, if I could go back and tell myself anything, like trying to be responsible in your 20s is almost, not entirely, but almost like just like a completely lost effort because your 20s are for like making mistakes and shit. And just like even it's like almost like if I could go back and tell myself like, okay, dude, I see you trying to like save money right now and trying to like make this happen, trying to make that happen. It'd be like, just go all in. Just go all in on the tour, dude.
Thing. I was just like, if I could go back in time and tell myself, what would I do? I'd be like, dude, rip it way harder than you did. Like,
fuck it, right?
Go all on out. Promise.
When else are you gonna be able to be like, fuck it, like let's go, like because you're still when you're in your 20s, like you're still an adult, right? But like you see a 20-year-old kid or a 21, 25 even year old kid like fucking up, you're like, nah, they're in their 20s. Like you still have like kind of like an excuse. You get into your 30s, you see people fucking up. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, bud?
Yeah,
a little bit more of a stigma on it, right?
Yeah, 30s, it's just like,
yeah. And then I also wonder, like we were talking about, like the people that do like the full tours and stuff. Like you see the people, like the front row crew. The people that you recognize on every like webcast, like from doing Couch Tour. And it's like, dude, these people are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and if I've seen them 5 shows in a row. Like, I'm like, what do you do for work? Like, are you like hiring? Yeah. Like, how are you doing it?
Have you ever been front row? Have you made it to the front row?
So a couple.
It's a different experience,
dude. It is. So one of the times I got close to front row was actually that one of the Northerly Island shows. I don't remember what year it was, but me and my buddy Pete. Do you know Pete? Peter
Probably.
Mall? Okay. Um, we were with our crew and we were like, "Hey, let's get up close." Like, but we were the only two ones that wanted to like get up close, and so like we like work our way like second set, like we're like maybe 5, 6 rows back, rows, right? But we're close as fuck, and I have a little. It was during an antelope, so I'm assuming it was second set. I don't know, but I had a little mild freak out, if you will.
Happens. It'll
Yeah.
happen.
It was too hot. It had to have been the year that it rained because
Okay.
I had my shirt off, and that's what led to the freak out. I was convinced that someone slapped something on my back, and it was
Oh, that's
while
not
Antelope
good.
was peeking. I don't think anything happened because once like I just like started running, dude, towards the back.
Yeah.
And
Oh
once I
man.
got there, like I kind of like calmed down and everything. And Pete was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Dude, that guy put something."
On my
So
back.
embarrassing, dude. So embarrassing. But
Could be
yeah,
anything, not on your
it,
back.
I know, dude. And I like looked over at this guy while
Peak
we were up there.
antelope too.
It's peaking, and this guy's just like cheesing at me like super hard, like I got you. And like the music video. This is how I remember it. This is not how it happened. But like the music video with Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. I don't know if you know that.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
where like they're all like smiling and their cheeks like go like way up. It's
Oh, dude,
super
yeah.
animated.
Once you get in that mindset, you see all kinds of. I remember being at a biscuit show, and I was like, peaking at a biscuit show. It was in Austin, uh, and I started looking at the crowd, and everyone just looked like a rat version of themselves. And
And
I
once
was
you get to
just
that
like,
point,
dude,
it's
once you get to that point, there's like it's gonna take a while for you to come back.
you're
You gotta
cooked.
take a minute. You're cooked. You better have something to hold on to. That's all I'm saying. Like an empty beer can, your toaster, like the
If it's
rail.
if it's an outdoor show, just hold on to the grass so you don't fall
Yeah,
off the earth, man. We've
yeah.
all been there.
You know, my one rail experience was, and I did it. It was a good thing that I did it, but I kind of regretted it in a
Where was this
way.
at?
It was at Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
It was a Super Bowl. It's my first Fish festival. Uh, I mean, looking back, and we were kids. Uh, I remember it took us so long. This was before we like started bringing our own drugs, which is the way to go. Like, do not shop on lot. Like
Yeah, right.
we had not learned that lesson yet. There was this guy. I remember this guy was just obviously walking around saying, "Doses, whatever you got, one stop shop over here." And we were like, "Okay, come with us." He comes to our freaking camp, and we just give him money, and he gives us like, "Okay, here you go. Here's like a sheet of acid." And we're like, "Oh, we freaking scored! Like it's gonna be the
Nice.
best weekend ever." And then like at no point throughout that entire transaction until like later on when we realized that those were bunk doses,
Oh,
it came to our mind that the guy that was sitting there selling us this acid or whatever had like 3 teeth probably, like almost no teeth, and had a white trash tattoo like over his belly top, and and we were just like, why did we give him all that money? We just got freaking hustled like big time.
it didn't even look like sheet paper.
Like,
It was
no,
just like
we were
paper like
just,
this.
yes, we were just like, yeah, like, again, those young mistakes you make. But
Right, right.
eventually, it all good. We found our drugs. It was good. But back to the rail story.
Yeah, right, right.
So uh, I remember, if you want to, at a fish festival, if you want to be front row, it's a commitment. You got to be there at
Yeah.
like 11 in the morning. Like you go,
It's
you
crazy.
sit there and you cook in the sun. Like you find your spot. Everyone just sits down to where they're gonna sit as close as possible. It's the same people the entire weekend.
Right.
Same people, and it's crazy how creative people get. You'll get your like book readers, which is like what a great thing to do, I guess, to pass time. You might as well read a book.
Right.
You get your sunbathers. There was this guy in a full Speedo just laying down. And he was just like, "Don't act all grossed out. I'm clean as a whistle. Just let me be." And just
like,
freaking
okay.
lathers this big guy just lathers himself in freaking oil and is
Jesus.
just cooking up front. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I'm front row. I was the only one of my crew that wanted to do this, so I left all
So
my
you were
homies behind.
solo?
I was part this. I was just like, this is gonna be my experience,
Okay.
like, uh, which looking back on it, was just like, you dumbass, like being with your own crew is like the
Part of
best
the
part.
fun. Yeah. I don't want to go
So
sit in the sun and read a
yeah,
book and wait on the
yeah.
band to start in five
Oh man,
hours.
and we waited, and we waited. I took back in the day. It was all about the freaking Franzia bag, the space
Oh,
bag.
yeah. Slap the bag.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I was just like, I'm just gonna take that with me and just freaking have a day.
Oh, God.
And start drinking wine. I freaking pass out, fall asleep.
What time is
Until
this?
literally it was early because I didn't wake up until the band started playing.
God, dude.
And it was a full on
Hungover.
like it was a full on like, hey, wake him up, the band's playing. Like Possum, I think Possum was like, the Page was on the keys like dun, 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 dun,
It's
like
starting.
this. And that's when I like freaking kind of woke up, worst headache. But I'm just like, okay, let's go. And it's just like it's a community. Like people take care of each other. I was just like, they woke me up. Like
That's awesome.
I'm in with these guys.
Yeah.
So we have a hell of a time. Then the next day, for some reason, I did it again. I was just like, I didn't even write. Like I wasn't like doing a journal or like, I don't know why I wanted to be front row every single night there, but I did it. And it was funny because like if you by the third night, there's a full on roll call of okay, guy with the spatula right there. Who's got the floating sandwich? Okay, pizza shirt's right there.
It's like a community within the
Oh
community.
yeah, community within community. Holding onto the rail is awesome. By the way, at a show, just getting the chance, like if you're like really peaking, just again having something to hold on to. Sometimes you have to because whenever like you're up front and you got a good spot, and all of a sudden you're like 10 feet back, like come like a deep downward disease. Like 15 minutes in, you're like all of a sudden like 10 feet back, and you're
You're
just
like,
whoa, how did that happen?
right.
So only good way to prevent that from happening is you just hold on to the rail.
Hold on for dear life.
Yeah. Uh, so that was a whole experience. But I will say that the crew, it's all about the crew always.
Yeah, dude.
At this
For
point,
me
like,
anyway. Yeah.
it's become like just as important, especially now where like there's so many. It's a few shows that I get to go to. That's
You want to be with your
best.
people.
You want to be with your people. You want to, and all of a sudden you're just like, you find yourself. We went to see the Dead and Company at the Sphere with some buddies I had not seen in like 3 years, and all of a sudden like we start getting at, and I'm just like, oh fuck, are we the guys that are talking the entire show?
Oh, no.
We're
It
just
happens,
like,
man.
dang.
It happens.
I was just
Dude,
like,
especially that's why you have to be that's why like at shows like this is a PSA like everybody's on the same page about chompers, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
no.
sometimes you are the chomper and just need to be
Sometimes it happens.
reminded like, hey, like and you're like, fuck man, I was being a chomper. But it's so hard like whenever like we get to this age to where and everybody's like, what you're saying, okay, we're all gonna meet up at the Sphere. We haven't seen each other in 5, 10, however many years. It's like, dude, you want to catch up with your homies,
Dude, I
but at the
just love
same
my
time,
boys,
I
it's
know
like,
it's hard,
not
dude.
the time for it. It's not the
Right.
time for it.
It's not the time.
Watch the show. Respect. other
Sometimes you're
people's show,
chomping,
too.
sometimes you get chomped.
Yeah,
Swampers are better than chompers.
yeah. That also happened. That also happened at a. We went to Billy Strings OKC with my wife, and
Oh, that's cool.
She's a yapper, of course. She's a talker, not just at a show, just in general.
In general.
So we're at the show, and she starts talking, and I just like go shh,
Like, shut the
and
fuck
then I
up.
was just like, fuck, did I just shh my wife? Like, And she just
Pay
looked
for
at me.
that one.
I was just like, listen, like, I'm. Can we talk about it later? I was just like, let's just chew me up later, like
Yeah,
not right
dude.
now.
Especially with someone that's like not in the scene or in the
Oh
know,
yeah,
right? Like you got to kind of give them like a preface before. It's like, okay, I know
oh
you've
yeah,
been to concerts, but like with this, like within this concert, there's like some rules, right?
yeah.
That you got to kind of like follow, like the unspoken rules. But it happens, man. It happens. Everybody's been on both sides of the bill.
Oh
And if
yeah,
you haven't, then you haven't been doing it right. You got to be on both sides to know how both
oh
sides
yeah,
work, right?
yeah.
um,
It really comes. It is a respect thing at the end of the day. You
yeah,
know.
it is. It is. And you have to be on both sides at some point to know
Hmm.
like where you're supposed to be, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So it's all learning, it's all fun. And that's why you got to be kind to everybody because, it might be somebody's first show and they haven't
Oh
seen their
yeah.
friends in fucking 10 years and like yeah, they're in front of you being super loud and it's like you don't have to be a dick. You can just be like, "Hey."
Oh yeah. You also don't want to interrupt that. Like if I see a moment of some boys just like being like just like hugged up, just like super happy, I'm not gonna be the one to shush them. But uh, again, it's an unspoken rule. Is the
Yeah,
best way to put it.
for sure. Back to you. Um, what is your this is like the impossible question I like to ask. What is your favorite jam of all time?
I've thought about. I took this one very, very personal when I read it. I was
Okay.
just like, let's see. Uh, and you're right. There's no good answer. Like, it's incredibly hard because there's such different eras of Fish and such different
Hmm.
sound. Uh, like to me, uh, the yam from freaking Dix from year two from the fuck yourself
Oh, okay. Yep.
from the fuck your face set. That entire like all the jams that were on there to me, it was just like one thing. That's probably my favorite show still to date. But that Karini, I mean, I just remember all of it. Uh, that
It was such a
emotional
moment.
rescue. I mean, that was like the whole thing was just like such. I was just like, okay, this is like because that was the year that we saw the Oklahoma City show, and that
Oh,
was
it's
right
say.
before. It was right before that,
Hmm.
and the Oklahoma City show. It was cool for Oklahoma City, but it was not the Fish from Vermont that freaking fucked your face at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Well, no, no, no. I think you're remembering it wrong. I think the Oklahoma City was right before
Yes,
Dick's.
right before
Right
Dick's.
before, yeah,
So
yeah. So
you went from Oklahoma City
greatest hits played
greatest,
album,
but
right?
yeah, but it's just like okay, it's just like this is us playing in Oklahoma City
Right.
to that, and I was just like, holy crap, this is a different band. So that's why it is hard
Yeah.
to identify one of my favorite. What is my favorite jam? Anything from Tour '97. I'd say the Ghost from what's it called from uh, the Euro Tour in Czech. Is it?
Amsterdam,
Oh, no, the one. I think it's after or before that, or maybe is it Amsterdam?
dude.
It's the
Because the
Ghost.
the
It's where
Ghost.
like Machine Gun Trey like just goes full force.
So the Ghost during that Amsterdam. Let
It's
me
the show
check.
with the Ghost and the Fat Piper. I know it's that one. I'm
Okay,
trying
yeah,
to.
that's Amsterdam.
Yes,
Because that's
that
the
is.
one where he's like talking about like the worm. You're on the back of the worm.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that's
That is
Amsterdam.
that was probably like for the longest time. I remember in college I would come back, from the bars drunk as hell, not ready to go to bed, and I would just play that just on repeat until that entire show. I was just like,
It's so good.
another one that I was listening to recently. Since you asked that, I was just like, because to be able to answer this question, I was just like, I need to like go back and listen to all this stuff that I would love to listen. When I was like the most into Fish ever.
Hmm.
Uh, St. Louis '93 stash when it goes from its eyes to stash,
Hmm.
kung stash kung, and then I remember that jam meant a lot to me for a long time.
Okay.
Because I mean it was just like again different era of Phish. Trey is just freaking so amped up throughout that time that it was just. I mean, they were in a crazy moment. They were having a crazy moment.
Dude, and those
that
hearing
early
about
era.
those, listening to those jams, and like knowing and like having people on and talking to people that were like there at those
Oh
shows,
yeah,
so
that's
envious, right? Like
yeah,
I'm 3 years old at the time. Like there's no way that I'm
yeah,
getting to see something like that. But it's cool like
absolutely.
hearing people's perspectives that like were there at iconic like early shows like that, because there's so much like if you can hear it, if you can hear that energy through a fucking 30-year-old recording, right? Imagine like the energy like that's like
Oh yeah,
being
just being
20
there,
years
holding on to the
old.
rail
Yeah.
for your dear life. Yeah, that'd be
Fucking
nuts.
crazy, dude.
Now, from newer or more recent years, I remember uh, there's a boogie on reggae woman from Worcester uh, in like I think it's 2014 or something. Uh, that Trey just absolutely goes crazy with it, and you can find it because there's not a lot of boogie on reggae woman freaking jams where they like go
This
deep.
may be.
I'll have to send you the date.
Send me the date
It's on
because
YouTube. It's on YouTube.
okay,
I'll
because my
find it.
buddy, Leonard. Do you know Kyle Leonard? He's an Oklahoma cat. He's like up in the
Probably
city.
again. I probably
Um,
introduced myself to him like 3 times
right, right.
before.
He is, and I'll get the date from him. But he's like got this boogie.
I think it's November or something. I'll look it up and send it
He's
to you.
like
But I
obsessed with it. Like once a year, like we'll all like in our group chat, like he'll like resend it or he'll be like, I'm listening
yeah,
to it again. But I never can remember the date, so I wonder if you're talking about the same one.
it's probably the same one. I'm talking because there's not a lot of
A
jam that
good
boogies.
chance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one that obviously, I gotta bring up because it was just like, again, I wasn't there, but I've listened to it 1,000 times, is the Tahoe Tweezer. How can you not
Oh
bring that
yeah.
up? That's
Right.
like a classic.
And as they keep
Again,
playing, there's just more and more classics to
oh,
like bring up. You could have a
there's so
classics
many.
episode.
Uh,
Tahoe
those
Tweezer's
are
solid.
those are probably my top ones that I keep going back to from time to time. Uh, it's crazy, being 35 now and like looking back on all that. You're not as good as or sharp, and also it doesn't matter to you anymore. Because I remember being like in my 20s and I knew dates just like religiously. It was just
Same, dude.
like I
Same.
was just like, oh, this date, this date, this date, and now it's like if my 20-year-old heard me say that I don't remember the exact date for that ghost,
Washed up.
uh, I mean,
Washed up,
he's
dude.
just like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Dude,
It's just different
same.
times. Like the nerdom that comes with an early Phish fandom. It's crazy. Like I remember like early Facebook before like old people and parents were on Facebook. I always remember just status, freaking uh, Phish lyric.
Same. Dude.
Just blasting Phish lyrics on Facebook. Like
So funny.
anytime that there's a like looking back on your years on Facebook, it's always just like something like so embarrassing that I said or a Phish lyric.
Yeah, mine and like I think yours. What you were saying is like yours is probably like this too. Like anytime I look at Facebook memories, it's like a date. It's
Yeah.
like 12, 14,
Oh
97, like
yeah.
some shit.
Yeah,
It's just
something
like,
that means only to you and your
and
freaking
there's like four people that have liked it. It's like my
yeah.
four friends that know what it what it is and what it means. But yeah, dude, that's fucking hilarious. I've lost my memory chops, but also like
Oh
just
yeah.
and going into that like dates. Like I remember some iconic ones, but for the most part, like I have to like if I want to listen to like the Riverport gin right now, like I would have to like go and type in like Riverport bathtub gin like to find the date, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's the date, and then find it like on
Yeah.
re-listen or whatever and put it
Yeah.
on. But like me 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh, Riverport Gin, I know that date. Da, 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 da. Boom.
It's also one thing that the internet has taken away, because if you're looking back on tapes, like you have to remember those dates. But now that you have YouTube available, all you have to put is a few words,
Yeah, you
and
don't
it's
have
just
to
like, oh
remember.
yeah, I don't have to remember the date. It's just you know
Free up my
there's
brain space for more important things.
yeah, there's I know there's another jam that I loved. It was a maze from Madison Square Garden. I forgot what year. I mean, there it was. I used to know that shit by, religiously. Now I know I'll find it. Thanks Lazy Lightning and Mr. Miner on freaking YouTube and all those guys that
Right.
were doing the dang thing. Uh, but yeah, YouTube. What a great thing to be able to. Probably the greatest app of all time for people that love
100%.
jam bands and music.
Dude, and then also, I'm sure you do know, but if not, I have to fucking plug this shit because it's like when I found out about it, it changed my life. You know about like the re-listen app, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, like that, like
I
right
call it the
along with
Wook
like
app.
yeah, 100%. And then have you discovered the Fish Just Jams app?
I have not.
Okay, dude.
I've
So
not.
I had one of the creators of that, Chris, on here a couple years ago. Like if you like literally it's called Fish Just Jams. And these dudes have put in so much fucking work. Talk about like a labor of love. Like it's literally exactly what it sounds like. Say you want to go listen to I mentioned the Riverport Gin earlier. Like you want to go to the Riverport Gin, like you type it in and it will start where the jam starts. Like so you don't have to listen
Oh,
to the
that
song.
is
It's like
commitment.
it's just the jams, dude, and you can segment it by like evil or bliss or by year. Like '94, you can do like Machine Gun Trey, and like it, dude. It's if you want to nerd out, fucking download
That
that
is
app.
that
It's
that
fucking
that
great,
that is a nerdy app for sure. I mean,
dude.
but I mean, I'm on all the apps. I'm on Live Fish. I'm on Nugs. Nugs is
I
I know like
I
the people
just
that
got
are on
Nugs.
Nugs. The people that are on Nugs, like those people are providing a service,
Hmm.
uh, and they've been doing it for years, and it's a great app.
Yeah,
Uh, then there's uh, Apple Music or Spotify. You're
Gimp Radio. That's another
yeah.
one.
I mean, I spent like freaking $50 on
Just
just
music.
streaming music streaming
It's
month to
crazy.
month.
It's
But
crazy,
I couldn't
dude.
do it. I could not, especially now that I'm not going to shows as frequently. That I just it's what a great way to still be part of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially with Nugs, like you can like just stream shows. Like I was
yeah.
making pizza last night and just like turned it on, like pulled up Tedeschi Trucks Band was playing.
Oh, yeah, it's
And
your
like
Friday night. It's just
yeah, and
like
I
it is
just
on
like threw it
Friday
on.
night. It's
Yeah.
just
I'm like,
pizza
dude, this is
and
so cool.
Tedeschi.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, this is so cool. Um, okay, back to you and your story. What so how many shows have you seen? Do you know?
Oh man. Uh, I know it's gonna be in the
Talking about us
probably
not
get to
remembering anything.
yeah probably. I honestly stopped counting at I think at 40, and that
Okay.
was I remember I hit 40 at Madison Square Garden, uh, 20 it had to be 2015 because after that is when yeah 2015 Madison Square Garden 2015 because they did 4 nights, did all 4 nights. That's a lot of music,
That is a lot of music.
3 nights is a lot. At this age, 3 nights is a whole lot more than it was back then. Four
Yeah.
nights in New York was just,
You got to
I
have
mean,
custom sneakers to do that,
dude,
dude.
like I've never seen my bank account deplete like that, especially at that age and like when like I'm 2015,
Fuck.
2015 college kid like in or like right out of college,
Yep.
uh, just in New York, just depleting bank account. I
Yeah,
remember
dude.
just like I was just like double Jameson's at Madison Square Garden. What a great idea! And no,
$30 a
like
pop.
yeah. Funny story actually. Uh, that year, God, I was again another like took too much story. That
Had
happens
too
to
much too
everybody.
fast.
Too much too fast. It was New Year's. Set one, everything's great. Maybe I should take a little bit more. No, you shouldn't.
Never a good question
But
to
I
ask
did. But I
yourself.
did. I did. Second set, I'm like drooling on myself, and it's just awesome. Uh,
Mm.
and I remember getting lost from the crew. I was always the guy that got lost from the crew. Like that
Where's
was
looking around like,
like
where's Diego?
not anymore, but like
Right.
well, still sometimes. But
Just Irish
I would
Irish goodbye and your
yeah, I
homies
was
at the
just
show.
yeah. not on purpose, like, but I
Right.
remember like set two was over, and I was just like, I had like gotten lost from my homies, and I'm just like, okay, I guess time to go. Freaking like start walking out, real like man, there's what happened? Like, there's not that many. Was there not many people? Am I leaving? Am I like the last one to leave? Freaking walk out, and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh fuck, it's New Year's. There's three sets. You just walked out on set two,
Oh,
like at
God.
the end of set two.
Did you get back in?
No, fuck no. There's no
Dude.
re-entry, dude. I was just like in the middle of New York, like home alone. Just what is going? I was just like, can you? I no re-entry, real big on the doors, and I was just like, oh my god, what have I done, dude? Night of my life. Met up with like I ended up like hanging out with all kinds of people. Just like saw the ball drop in New York. I mean, it's still cool, but I missed like the
Right.
entire third set.
Dude, good for you though on making that into a positive
Oh yeah.
scenario because I would have just
Somehow,
fucking melted into the concrete.
dude, somehow made it back to my hotel. I remember like sharing a cab with like some guys that I had been partying with that like just were trying to have a good time and making it back to my hotel somehow. And I remember I couldn't. It was one of those hotels where like you gotta like show the like swipe the card in the elevator,
Uh-huh.
and then push the button so you can go up to your freaking room.
Uh-huh.
Well, I couldn't figure that out, of course. So I was just hitting buttons, and like the elevator wouldn't work. So I decided to freaking take the steps,
Oh God.
and it was like
What
all the way to
floor?
the 13th floor. It was like 13 flights of stairs.
Damn.
And then
Wait,
there's like
13th floor. Wait, am I tripping or is it like a thing where hotels don't have a 13th floor?
no,
Or is
I
that just some
promise.
hotels?
Maybe some hotels, but I made it. I promise you, it was 13. That was
Okay.
so
Okay.
I get there. Uh, so get into my room. Well, I had a really hard time just swiping the card, getting it to work. Get
Figuring
in
it
there,
out, yeah.
and I just housed a bottle of champagne and went to bed. My buddies just walked in there, like found me like passed out in bed. Still, there's a picture. They took it. There's a picture of me just passed out with sunglasses still on, with a bottle of champagne in bed.
That's what we'll
That's
use
the
for your
whole big
thumbnail.
set. I
Just
should
kidding.
have sent you that one. That would have been another good one.
Dude, that is wild.
Yeah,
Walks
that was
out after the second set on
just
New
no
Year's.
idea. On a head
Oh,
full, just.
but yeah,
But
dude,
again,
you
it
making
was.
it a positive experience, that's amazing. That's
It happens.
it
It happens.
happens, dude. That's crazy.
Sucks when it happens to you, but it
Yeah.
happens.
Once again, you got to be on both sides. Like, how many people? I'm sure you're not the only one, but like, how many people can share that experience with you? Like, there's only a handful, I promise. Like,
Oh, and it
was
makes such a
at Fish
great
New
story
Year's
too.
and walked out second set. Where are my people at? There's like five people are like, I did that.
It makes sense. I knew it would make, like the next day I was just like, dude, this is gonna be such a great story to
It
share with
is,
everybody.
and now it's gonna live on
This podcast
forever.
forever. It's
Forever. It's
timeless.
documented. Okay, so you've seen it's anywhere between, you stop counting, well, 40, 50,
Yeah,
60 shows,
2015, 40. I'm
s-
probably like six.
somewhere in there.
I'd probably only see him like once every 2 years nowadays. So
Yeah,
it's probably like it hasn't grown much from 40. It's probably 50.
50-ish. Okay. Out of those 50 shows, we've already kind of talked about like some of your favorite jams that you've seen. We all know that Fish likes to cover songs. If you could pick any song for Fish to cover, what would you
You
want to
know,
hear him cover?
this one's a tough one because another reason of why I love Fish is because of they have taught me so much about music
Right.
because of the covers that they've done
Yep.
throughout the years. Like, you know, I found out about the Talking Heads through Fish.
I feel like a
So
lot of
many
people our age have.
yeah,
Yeah.
so many bands or so many songs that I've like been like, oh wow, this Fish covered it. Uh, that got me into it. I mean, Exile on Main Street when they did that whole album, I was just like, that is my top three in my top three albums of all time.
Dude.
And I came to it because of Fish.
Yep.
Uh,
So good.
So that is a tough one. They've done so much cover wise already that I love. Down by the River is one of my favorite songs from Neil Young, and they've done that already.
Okay. So
Uh,
you've already seen some, or they've already done some covers that you would want
yeah,
them to do.
yeah. I was just like,
Gotcha.
man, that is like a really good one for them to cover. Uh, there's even some that I like more when they play it. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
I would like for them to do a cover uh, of. I've seen Trey do some J. Cale, just some again back to Oklahoma. I would
Hmm.
love to see him do some Oklahoma covers from like J. Cale or Leon Russell. Again,
Yeah, dude.
I've seen Trey Band at Canes. They did Delta Lady in tribute to Leon Russell, and that was freaking awesome.
That is cool,
Uh,
dude. Forgot
I
about
would
that.
love to see him just pick an Oklahoma artist and do a cover. I'm gonna say Snake Farm by Ray Wiley Hubbard.
Let's
If they
go.
would do that, I would love
Snake
for
bar.
them to do that. I
That's
would
awesome.
love for them to do that.
I love that answer, dude. Snake Farm.
I think they would have so much fun with it.
They would, dude. And that one's so off the wall that
Oh yeah.
if they do ever cover it,
Oh,
then
dude,
we'll
you're
know
gonna
that
get a
somebody from the band heard this or
yes.
someone in the band's inner circle heard this because there's no way they're ever covering Snake Farm unless they
I know.
fucking hear
It'd be
this.
wild if they did that.
Dude, they do that at any point while the time they're still playing. I'm gonna fucking shit myself and call you
Dude, that's
immediately.
that's kind of how I felt whenever I was doing live stream of their one of their Halloween shows where they first played Fuego, and I was just like, did they just say Diego?
Did they just say my name?
I was just in my computer. Did they just say my name? Like I was just in my room by myself, just like,
Yeah.
ah, they said my
What?
name.
Is that
And
like
from
your
that
like
point on, oh yeah, dude. If
theme
I go
song
to a
now?
show, yeah, if they go to a show and they play it, I'm freaking pulling out my ID and just like, it's me.
It's me. They wrote this song about me. What song are you
It's
chasing?
it's also the one song that like if I have buddies all over that are go to a Phish show and they play it, I immediately get a text. It's just like, dude,
Playing
Diego.
Fuego. Playing your song, Fuego.
Yeah.
Um, what song are you chasing that you want to see them play that you haven't
Oh, I
got to
mean,
see?
uh, I feel like it's hard to say that you're not constantly chasing a yam because it's just such a
Have you
like
never seen a Yim?
I've seen it,
Oh,
but
okay.
I just love seeing it as much as possible.
Sure, yeah, it's a great one. What song have you not seen
Have I
that you
not
want to see that
seen?
you're chasing?
Man, this one I had trouble thinking about too. Uh, I would love, and again, it's a cover. Uh, I would love if like I was at a show and they just did a freaking fat jam, disease, whatever, and then they rolled into a Let It Loose from the Stones cover. That would
Yeah,
be that's probably what I'm chasing. I want a fat jam, 30 minute,
into Let It Loose.
and to Let It Loose. Just bring me down into that.
Dude, that's such a good song too.
You,
Like
you
talk
know
about like
that
a perfect like rainy day song.
Yeah, and
Like
here's the thing
fuck.
is, no, the Stones have never played it live. That's one
Oh,
thing that I
really?
found out. Yeah, never. That's apparently never. That's what I've read. You know,
Somebody's coming out of the woodwork like they actually played.
someone on this podcast right now on the comments, show me what date they played Let It Loose, and I'll, I was wrong, but from what I've read, they've never played it live, and for Fish to freaking get the freaking balls to play that live, wow,
What a good song, dude.
it's a
Fuck.
banger.
It's such like a it's one of those songs to where like talk about nerding out on like sometimes I often find myself like trying to describe the feeling that you get from like a song, not necessarily like lyrics. I'm not much of a lyrics person. I'm more of like a feel
Hmm.
person. But like Let It Loose is one of those songs that it can. I just said it's like a rainy day song, but that's like a song you can put on if you're happy,
Oh
if you're
yeah,
sad, if it almost fits like any situation, if that makes sense.
yeah. No,
You
I
know what I
agree.
mean?
It's a
God, I
banger. We're
fucking love
probably
that
gonna
song.
play it right after this
I was
podcast.
just about to say,
Just throw it on.
while I'm making the clip for socials on this, I'm gonna be listening to that song, that whole album. Dude, fuck, I love that song.
So,
Okay,
uh,
so Let It Loose,
Let It Loose is probably
out
the
of a
one
jam.
and that's one that I know I'm gonna chase forever because like they're what are the
Hey,
odds of them playing a cover like that, especially now with
it's
the hit.
better odds than Snake Farm, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I know we're coming up on time, but I want to hear, and we've heard some stories, but outside of missing a New Year's set and catching the Fuck Your Face show, what are some highlight standout memories, like your favorite memories from Fish Tour? Like it could be during the show, on the way to the show, in the lot before the show. What are some other outside of the ones that you've already shared? What's like some ones that come to mind?
Come to mind. I mean, again, any moment that I'm with my friends,
Yeah.
especially like I'm super emotional about my boys right now because, again, you just don't get to see them as much. So anytime you get the crew back together, think of 1,000 different shows that we've had some good times
Yeah.
and some moments. Uh, There was one Chicago show that this was another like crazy story, and I'll finish with this one. It's a good one. Uh, we drove to Chicago. I was staying at my aunt's house that lived right outside of Chicago because we didn't want to expense the hotel because we didn't have the money. And it was me and my buddy. We met up with another buddy that was just gonna come and stay at my aunt's house. We go to the show, and on the third night, we made an agreement. I was just like, look, like someone has to be the DD tonight.
We messed up the
And
first two nights, but somebody's
yeah,
got to do
I
it
was just like,
tonight.
somebody's got to do it tonight. And I was just like, we just like, third time's the charm. Like something's gonna go wrong. So like I was just like, I'm not gonna be the DD. Just flat out told him.
Nose goes.
My other buddy was just like, okay, one of them volunteered, and it's just like, okay, I'll be the one. And I'm like, okay, like, we go into third night. I think they played Punch You in the Eye. Like, I don't remember. It was like beginning of set one or set two, and we were just like, this is freaking awesome. Like, it's gonna be a hell of a show. Get super high now. Back then, we were on the 1-3-6 diet, which is like, you have one freaking dose night one, 3 night two, and then just go freaking balls out and have 6.
Yes.
Which is crazy to think about now.
That is
Like,
crazy, dude.
I was like, I don't want to ever have 6 doses right now.
Can you imagine?
Like I'll take a half. But yeah, looking back on it,
Get the
I'm
razor
just like,
blade out.
Yeah, the 1-3-6 diet, that's man,
That's crazy.
what a time. So
Yeah.
so we do that, and of course it was Sunday, so time for the 6. And you do build a tolerance, so it's not as crazy, but still big number.
Yeah.
So two of us just get lit up, beers throughout the show, whatnot. The one buddy that had told us that he was gonna do what he was supposed to do, I don't know where he went, but we found him at the end of the show, and he was just like, I mean, he looked like someone had mopped the freaking pit with him. I was just like, you're an idiot. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, we're in the parking lot, and we're just like, okay, like. My other buddy was kind of freaking out. I was trying to hold it together. The other one was just like cracking up, couldn't stop laughing. So we just freaking tossed him on the back seat, and I was just like, okay, like I'll freaking take responsibility. Like, let's go. Get in the
God.
car. I told him, I was like, guys, no jams, just freaking dead
Focus.
silence, because I was like, laser focused. Like, we gotta get us there. I'm in
Yeah.
Chicago. It was the first time in Chicago, by the way. Like, how the fuck, like, and again, my aunt lived on the outskirts of Chicago, so like, we start driving. We're in the highways. Everything's kind of going good. All of a sudden, freaking flat tire. I'm just like, no.
Dude.
Like, I'm just like flat tire. Pull onto the side of the road. I maybe have changed the tire twice at this point in my life.
And
Maybe.
you're on a head full, and you're
And
like,
I'm on
oh
a
my
head full,
god.
and if you ask my wife, like, it's just like, I mean, like, she changes the light bulbs at the house. Like, I am not handy.
Okay.
So I'm just like, okay, well, like, flat tire, what are you gonna do to solve this problem? You gotta put the new tire on. So freaking get out there, just like, buddy's holding a flashlight, like, or his phone with a flashlight, and I change the tire, somehow make it home, and I'm just like, we got home. I told him, like, all right, all you guys shut up and go to bed. Like, I was kind of frustrated at that
I've
point.
had it.
I've had it, and I'm just like laying down in bed, just like thinking, holy fuck, did I just change a tire in a Chicago highway on a head full of acid
Yes,
after
I
a
did.
Phish show? I mean, like, I freaking did the damn thing. So
That's crazy.
that's probably like a big highlight of a Phish tour memory.
And unless you know, unless you like know that story to like a what I'll call like a normal person,
Oh yeah, no,
they're
it's
like,
just
okay,
like,
you changed a tire on the side of the road, but like if you
congrats, dude.
know, like that was an event,
Oh
dude.
no, that was
That was an
again,
event.
it's a memory that's gonna be stuck in my head forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
for sure. I'm with you, man. That's crazy. Dude, Diego, thank you so much for
Hey,
taking the time, dude. I always try to keep these at an hour, and I have to like discipline myself to do it because if I don't,
it
then
was fun.
I'll literally sit
It's
here
easy to
for
talk
4 hours
forever.
every episode.
Yeah.
I'm like taking up people's Saturdays. Like you got family, like
Yeah,
people
it's
got
like
stuff going on.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, but dude, thank you so much
No,
for
thank you.
taking the
Thank you for
time.
having me.
I appreciate you. I'm glad to hear your story more in depth. Like I said, like we started out, like we've been running in the same circles, and have
Yeah.
been bumping into each other for a while. So it's
Hopefully
cool to know.
we catch each
Yeah,
other at a show
yeah.
sometime soon.
Are you doing any this year?
This year I'm probably not. I'm actually going to Red Rocks to catch leftover salmon and the Dwellers
Oh, that's
this
cool.
Monday, but that's my last one.
That's your last one. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But next
hopefully in the
year,
future, man,
yeah,
kids get a
we'll
little
stay in
older, get
touch.
them into it.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
get them excited about it, and be like, hey, we gotta get. Kids are excited
Oh yeah,
about it.
family trip. Let's go.
Yeah, family trip. Cool, man. Thank you again so much. Stay on. I'm gonna stop the recording.
All right.